while everyone talks renewables, 2021 has been the year of fossil fuels. Costs are soaring for nearly everything as China and Europe deals with concerns about energy shortages and all this as we head into a winter, which is supposed to be maybe pretty bad. And some of that may be directly tied to Russian leader Vladimir Putin. Brian Sullivan joins us now from London with a look at Russia's growing gas power in Europe. A lot of this does seem to be, he's like chuckling, right? On the way to the bank, Brian?
If he chuckles, yes. If Putin were to chuckle, he would be chuckling right now because his power has only gone up. All right, first off, Joe, I do have some good news for Europe and England. Natural gas prices have actually come down a touch from their recent highs as well. If you look at the spot market, the January 2022 contract in Europe now is about $70. That is down from about $115 a month ago. The bad news is that number is still 350% higher than a year ago. Went from 15 to 70. Now, much of that move has to do with Russia, natural gas, and pipeline. Now, we, of course, have talked a lot about the Nord Stream 2 pipeline in recent years, of course, but that is not operating yet. In fact, the key pipeline right now is called the Yamal pipeline. It is running from Russia through Belarus, Poland, and then into Germany. That is the one that is currently operating. And this week, Germany finally saw some increased flows of natural gas through the Yamal. This is after a few days, guys, where the pipeline began pumping the wrong way, back to the east, back toward Poland. Can you believe that in a shortage? Experts think this is no accident, as Europe has become more desperate for natural gas heading into the winter, and Putin is using this increased power to hold parts of Europe political hostage. Imagine that. To get his crown jewel approved is the goal of all this. That is the Nord Stream 2. It is built, but it is not yet running. It still needs German approval. They've got a new government there, and Putin is very, very eager to get the new pipe flowing as soon as possible. There's your map. Now, we had a chance to speak with former Energy Secretary Rick Perry, and I asked him about the threat that Putin poses to Western Europe's energy supplies.
But the point is, without substantial liquefied natural gas coming from non-Russian sources, and I say non-Russian sources because there's already a record of Putin shutting down the gas supply to places that he wants to put a political finger on, so to speak, to get them to do certain things.
So Germany in particular, the biggest economy in Europe, guys, they killed their nuclear industry over the last 20 years or so. So outside of renewables, 80% of their power needs are natural gas. Nearly 30% of Europe's entire natural gas, all of it, comes from one company, Gazprom. And right now, Europe's natural gas storage is lower than any time in more than a decade. The UK, where we are, is in an even worse position. They actually don't even have any significant gas storage, don't have the capability. They shut that down in 2017. So they're extremely reliant, desperate really, on buying gas on the open market, which means they are very reliant, Joe, on the natural gas generosity of, yes, one Mr. Vladimir Putin.
I see you texted me about, first of all, it's interesting for me to know that Belarus and Poland actually have a border. So I'm going to take your word for it. And therefore, there is a border crisis. It impacts. I got to study up maybe a little bit on all these borders over there. What does the border crisis entail, and how does it affect this whole story that you're talking about? Right.
Yeah, it is complicated. I know. I'll try to do it quickly, as TV is soon to do. All right, Belarus obviously borders Russia. They've got a lot of migrants coming in from Syria and other parts of Asia, very desperate people, destitute in some cases, and they are dying. They are literally dying at the border. They are freezing. Here's the political conundrum as well. Poland is accusing Belarus of basically driving them into Poland. Belarus is saying, no, it's Poland's fault. In other words, it is escalating into a possible military incident. Well, we just talked about the key pipeline, the Yamal. That's a natural gas pipeline. It goes through Belarus. In fact, Belarus is arguably the most important small to mid-sized nation in Europe from an energy perspective, Joe, because not only does the Yamal natural gas pipeline go through it, but the biggest oil pipeline goes through it. And Belarus's leader, Lukashenko, has basically said, I will cut off the taps unless Poland fixes this. So this humanitarian crisis
Right.
could contribute
Migrant.
to the energy crisis.